You ready to find out what Marvel's next big thing is? It should be next big things. Given the stature and the creativity of this team that is assembled online, the Avengers of the Marvel writing community, with one artist who has also joined us, we got a show for you today.
Yeah.
So my name's CB Cebulski. I'm the editor-in-chief. I will be your host for this fantastic panel. And let me introduce who we have up here on stage with me today. There's Mr. Donny Cates.
Hi.
Writer
Hi,
of
everybody.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Venom, and Silver Surfer Black. We have some Immortal Hulk fans out there.
Yeah!
Writer Al Ewing.
Hello.
Making his debut on a Marvel panel is artist of Deadpool, Mr. Nick Klein.
Yeah, Nick Klein.
We added a little classified next to his name as we're going to be announcing something possibly later in the panel that Nick will be working on. And you know him, you love him, writer of Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Tony Stark Iron Man, Mr. Dan Slott.
Yeah, Dan Slott.
So first up, Incoming. You guys heard of Incoming? So Incoming is our big end of the year special. It's our Christmas present to you. It comes out the last week of the year. It'll be the last Marvel comic that comes out of the year. It's an oversized 80-page giant that is going to tell you about everything that went forward in the Marvel Universe in 2019 and everything that's coming up in 2020. But it's not just there. The roots go all the way back to some of the first Marvel comics ever. It's going to answer questions that have been in the Marvel Universe for about 50 years. Al, you're going to be writing a little bit of the spine of that, correct?
Yep, me and Dan, I think you've got an equal amount in this.
We can't tease too much.
Should I have mentioned that?
So Dan and Al are going to be writing part of the main story. Then all the creators from all your favorite books are going to be contributing chapters about the heroes that they're working on. Donny, I think you're working on Venom. Jason's working on some Avengers. Jonathan Hickman's working on some X-Men. So it's going to be all the Marvel Universe characters written by their creators in this massive special. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about it? There was a teaser that we put up. I don't think we've answered the question of who that is yet.
Yeah, well, people will find out if the silhouette knowledge is not good. People are going to find out in December who that is and who is doing the uniting. It's a murder mystery. It's a whodunit. It's a howdunit. It's a who gets it. It's a why done it. It's like. It's basically, we start off with a classic locked room mystery, and it balloons out of there into something that touches the entire Marvel Universe.
And now, the Spider Universe, you're putting some of the Spider characters through their paces in absolute carnage. Yes, I hope everybody's reading.
Yeah. Hi, mic on? Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Yeah, and then if you guys are enjoying Absolute Carnage, Incoming has a very integral piece of that. A little bit of the fallout. You'll be able to see some of the massive consequences of the events of Absolute Carnage in Incoming.
All right, now, moving on to our next project here. Every now and then, a book comes along that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime read, and the way that it is written and drawn is just so beautifully mind-blowing. It makes people just stand up and go, ooh. And currently, going into, I think it's 5th or 6th printing, Silver Surfer Black by Donny Cates and Tradd Moore.
Thank you.
I mean, this book, colored by Dave Stewart, is just blowing people away, Donny. And here's the cover at issue 5.
Yeah, this book has been just, not to put a pun on it, but a trip. Tradd Moore is a guy that I went to college with, and it is just a space alien of an artist. It has been one of the most passionate and rewarding books that I've ever had the pleasure of working on, and we're going to release it in a big, nice treasury thing, right?
Yes.
So that'll be nice. Thank you guys so much for reading it. For those of you who don't know, at the beginning of my Guardians run, a lot of heroes were kind of blown through a black hole, and we didn't know where they all went. Silver Surfer Black, for those of you who are not reading it, it picks up on where Surfer went. And where he went was back at the dawn of time, where he encountered a being named Null. And it's been a bit of a trippy Jack Kirby, Stan Lee kind of in the homage to like a book like Parable, which is to me just one of the greatest Stan Lee works of all time. It's a knight's quest to defend the light inside of him without succumbing to the dark. Issue 5 comes out in a few weeks, I think. Yep. And I really hope you guys like it. And thank you guys sincerely for embracing kind of experimental, like trippy comics that are kind of outside of the norm. We hope that we get to do more.
Cool. And Donny, while you got the mic, why don't we talk a little bit about one of your other books, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Wait. Rocket Guardian no more?
So look, we've been doing this arc right now. It's called Faithless. And for those of you who are not reading it, Rocket's, all the kind of bioengineering that has been done to him to kind of make him into this sassy, awesome mercenary raccoon that we all love, they've been beginning to fail. And Rocket's dying. And so he's had a really rough go in this arc. And the way that it ends, I can't tell you, but can I... let's talk about this for a second. Yeah. The Magus, the evil Adam Warlock, little kind of Damien from the Omen little boy that we have here is joining in the fight, because the fight is against the evil space cult, the Universal Church of Truth. And they have a nefarious plot involving time travel and the end of the world, and they're going to try and kill death. And so it's a very... uplifting story.
Like all your stories.
Yeah, like all my stories. The conclusion of it is going to be brutal and pretty hardcore. And you got
a little sad news, though, don't you?
I do. For those of you who have been enjoying my Guardians of the Galaxy run, there's been a lot of people asking me, issue 12 came out, and it seems to indicate that it is the end of my run. That is true. I will be stepping off of Guardians of the Galaxy with issue 12 because I have a huge new project coming up. And so I brought along a little thing to help me.
You gonna make an announcement?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think it's about time. This is my little buddy Groot. And for a little over a year now, I've been taking care of this guy and putting him through his paces. But I'm done. And so I think I'd like to, here in front of all of you, pass this on to the person who will be taking care of your Guardians in the future, Al Ewing.
We're going to have fun, little friend.
That's right. Al Ewing will be taking over Guardians of the Galaxy.
It is on like Donkey Kong. This I've been thinking about what to say here. I guess one of the things people know me for is world building. With Guardians, I get to do universe building, and I am taking full opportunity for that. I'm basically taking over space.
And he is not kidding.
I am taking control of space. We're going to see some, from the look of that cover, is that the same Rocket who's dying? You know, I'm not going to tell you. But like from the look of that cover, you know, that might look a little like spy-fi action, kind of like a sort of Mission Impossible James Bond. It's all of those things. You can see a couple of familiar faces there that I know have some fans in the audience. Any Richard Rider fans in there? Several. Marvel Boy, any big fans of Marvel Boy?
Over here.
There's a couple. Well, I'm a big fan of his. And of course, you got Rocket there, and he's back in the suit. And you've got you got your Peter Quill, you've got Moondragon. Those are not all of the Guardians we'll be using. Those are not all of the Guardians who will be in the book. We're playing with like a big cast here. We're playing with a cast of billions because we're playing with like all of the space empires, all of like the high cosmic space stuff. We are just gonna smash it into each other. Things are building towards Remember the annual when like Nova was just really worried about like where the entire galaxy was going? He was entirely right. So there we go. Stuff is coming. And I don't have to tell you, like, Juan Cabal, I'm assuming I've got that right. He is amazing. He is some form of genius. And he is really inspiring me to, like, take this to the next level. So
that'll be debuting in January.
Yes, January.
Next up, Donny, we're kicking it back to you. Don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
Absolute Carnage.
Before I start in on this, I just want to say I never in a million years thought that you guys would embrace this this serial murder with a nuclear bomb event that we put together. Ryan Stegman and I have just been having an absolute blast. Jesus. Yeah. Have you guys read issue 3, Absolute Carnage number 3? Ended on a bit of a bang. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the Hulk got the symbiote. Issue 4 is I rarely back out of a promise that I make, and the fight between Dark Carnage and Volk, I guess we're calling him, the immortal Venom Hulk, I suppose, is huge. And meanwhile, what you have here in these pages is Eddie without his symbiote, trying to figure out how in the world he can still get in this fight, because he tends to learn a few things from his old pal Peter about responsibility and power and these things. And Eddie doesn't have his symbiote, but he's not alone. He's going to jump back into the fight, and things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. # if they do.
But also, the next arc after Absolute Carnage is also you kind of doing a little homage to something that's went on in the past.
Venom Island. Okay. So this is the direct ramification of Absolute Carnage. Obviously, Absolute Carnage number 5 is going to be a very big deal. Also, Venom number 20. I can't encourage you guys enough to read that issue, because that'll be setting up both Venom Island and some seeds for some things that you guys are never going to see coming in a million years. There's this character named the Maker who's been running around in the book, and he's had nefarious plans and these things that will all be revealed in Venom number 20. Venom Island, though. As a very young child, I fell in love with my favorite issue of a Spider-Man Venom kind of a crossover. Was what is it? Amazing Spider-Man number 374. Someone will fact check me on that one. Is that right? Where Venom takes Peter to this deserted island and just hunts him. And it's incredible. It was drawn by Eric Larson, written by David Michelini, and it was just brutal and it was amazing. We are returning to that island. For the first time since then. But the biggest thing for me, just as a nerd, as a guy who grew up with Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man, is that I am joined by Mark Bagley on Venom Island. Absolutely. We in the Venom and Spider-Man office, we kind of had a talk about it, and we were like, after the events that we have taken with Carnage, who was created by Mark, we only thought it fitting to bring him onto our pirate ship and let him help us burn some stuff down. So look out for Venom Island in December. It's going to be a wild one.
Yep, great.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of putting characters through their paces, Dan, what you've been doing to Tony Stark and Iron Man has been quite the ride.
Yeah, I'm been evil. Right now, if you guys have been reading Iron Man, back when Matt Fraction wrote Iron Man, he downloaded his brain. Tony downloaded his brain digitally and then slowly uploaded his brain. When Brian was writing Iron Man, he got Tony killed in Civil War II, and his body had to be rebuilt. And if you know the problem of the philosopher's axe, if you take an axe and you just replace the handle and then you replace the axe head, is it the same axe? What Tony's finding out is the thing that came back, it's a copy. Is Tony dead? Has he been dead all this time?
Has he?
Well, there's another character we've had in the book for a while.
Yep.
Can we talk? Ooh, this is right now. Ultron is running around and he's smushing people and robots together, and he tried to smush the Wasp and Jocasta together to have his ultimate bride. And Tony, you guys read the latest Iron Man? Tony got fused with his armor. The thing calling itself Tony Stark is now this horrible cybernetic creature. I wonder if he's going to make it through this giant Ultron story unharmed.
I do not know.
I do not know. Because I think issue 19, have we told people? Issue 19 it's the last issue of Tony Stark Iron Man.
Uh-oh.
It's
really?
over. Yeah.
It's the end of issue 19. It's the end of 2019.
Yeah. At the end of 2019, we're wrapping up Iron Man.
Well,
It's
what
over.
could possibly happen in 2020?
2020? Oh my God!
So are we ready to show people this? It's been hinted at. It's been teased at.
Yes!
No one's seen much yet. So starting in January.
We are fulfilling the promise that has been around since the 80s, that you're going to get a future where Arno Stark is Iron Man.
So in January, we are launching Iron Man 2020, an all-new series written by Dan Slott with Chris Gage, drawn by Pete Woods.
I have been fighting to get Pete Woods to Marvel for so long. We have these constant emails back and forth over the years like, come to Marvel, come to Marvel. And the thing that got him to Marvel is Iron Man 2020. It's going to be so good. We've been seeding it for a while with Machine Man, Jocasta, Sunset Bane, all the characters that you've seen in the future of 2020. We're in 2020 now. Yeah. When I found out I could do Iron Man, I was like, I get to be the guy who writes Iron Man in 2020. Oh my God, we're going to do Iron Man 2020.
Al, speaking of space, speaking of cosmic, speaking of billions of lives, speaking of multiple personalities.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Immortal Hulk?
Immortal Hulk 25. Now, who's read Immortal Hulk 24? Who was freaked out by Immortal Hulk 24? The ending.
Yeah.
Most people who read it. Yeah, basically what this is, I've been kind of doing for a while in my own books the idea that the Marvel multiverse we're in now is like the 8th iteration of the multiverse, and on kind of Secret Wars time, back when we destroyed everything, rebuilt everything, or rather Hickman did, that was the 7th ticking over to the 8th. And what this book is the first and maybe the only book to be set in the 9th cosmos. So we're going to see the multiverse after all of humanity, and the only human or even slightly human creature left in there is the Hulk. So we're going to see like a cosmic Hulk in a completely alien landscape. I've been saying a lot of stuff like this is like no Marvel book you've ever seen. I stand by that. It went to print just a couple of weeks ago.
And then, these covers serve as a good precursor to Alex Ross. So, Alex is just an amazing painter, has the most, storied career in comics. He has contributed so much to all the different companies. And this year, while it was our company's 80th anniversary, it was also the 25th anniversary of Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross's book, Marvels. One of the defining books, one of the defining painted comics of all time. And Alex has been doing a lot for us. We've been continuing celebrating the Marvels anniversary in many different ways. Now, were there anyone out there who was a fan of Earth X or Universe X or a lot of those other books? Well, you're going to be getting more because Alex is coming back with his co-conspirator Jim Kruger to do Marvel's X.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be a prequel to the Earth X trilogy. Much like Marvel's, it's going to be seen through the eyes of not Phil Sheldon, but a young boy by the name of David. And this is going to have a lot of the classic characters that you know from that Earth X, Universe X series, Spider-Man, Captain America, Ghost Rider, but seen in a whole new different light. And it's going to be drawn by Welby, who's a wonderful Serbian artist, really emulates and has been inspired by John Paul Leon back in the day, and he's really the perfect guy to draw this series that's going to take us back and look at that universe in a completely different light with Alex doing all the covers. So this is going to launch in January by Alex, by Jim Kruger, and by Welby. Now, Dan, last year you relaunched the Fantastic Four. You brought the first family back to Marvel, brought them back to their roots, have been playing with the history, with the mythology, and in the new arc, Point of Origin, you are going back to the original trip that they took into space.
Yes. We named the rocket finally. It's called the Marvel One. It ushers in the age of Marvels. Reed and the crew were originally going to go with his faster than light drive to this planet outside of our solar system, and since they crashed, they never finished the mission. They finally decide, hey, let's recreate the thing. Let's go to the one place in the universe we've never been, the place we wanted to go. And they end up on this planet called Spire. And we've just met Spire's version of the Avengers, who are the Unparalleled. These 7 superheroes who have just, if you've read last week's Fantastic Four, kicked their butts. And now they might be stuck on Spire forever. This might be their new home because no one's allowed to leave. Oh no!
Paco Medina doing some absolutely beautiful.
Oh my
artwork.
God! We have Paco Medina on art, and also how do you say Sean's last name? Isaacs.
Yes, Isaacs.
Sean Isaacs. We have this 2-man team on FF. Both of them work together to build this whole world. Everything from like how the buildings look to what kind of clothes people on Spire wear. Everything about their culture. All these new superheroes. That new character, the Overseer, who looks really creepy and cool.
So, did you guys all read War of the Realms? Jason Aaron, Russell Dowderman doing this great big cosmic adventure, or Asgardian earthly adventure earlier in the year. And one of the characters that spun out of that was Jane Foster Valkyrie. Al, you've been writing this book with Jason. Cafu's been doing gorgeous things on the art. Bullseye, the Talking Horse. The
Grim Reaper.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper. I mean, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been going on?
I mean, we're kind of getting towards like why the Grim Reaper has been sort of shadowing Valkyrie and kind of paying Bullseye to try and kill her essentially, and we're going to kind of find out why that is, and that's basically without dropping too much. It's like when all the Valkyries died, and when Jamie came back, there was like an opening in terms of who gets to be the Valkyrie. And the job of a Valkyrie is to bring the souls of heroes to like an afterlife. Now Mephisto has spotted how useful this can be. So he's sort of set Grim Reaper up as like a potential, alternate Valkyrie to like grab the souls of heroes and like take them to him. And then, of course, Jane comes along and spoils the plan.
And then, as we said, Jason Aaron was really, bringing his time on Thor to a close. War of the Realms ended. Now he's finishing up his run with the new King Thor by him and Esad Ribic. The last issue, King Thor number 4, is going to be every artist who's ever drawn Thor with Jason is going to come back and contribute pages to it, really make a beautiful book to send him on his way and take Thor into a new chapter in the Marvel Universe. But now, Donny, before we move on to questions and answers, you had something you wanted to talk to some people about. You asked me to give you a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind. So I have had the extraordinary pleasure of working for Marvel. I have been a Marvel kid since I was a wee little boy. My father taught me how to read on Marvel Comics. And it's always been a dream of mine to be able to do this, to talk to you guys. And when I was fortunate enough to get a job with you guys, there were 2 characters that I always had a dream that I never thought would ever come true that I could maybe get my hands on. And one of them was Venom. And you guys have been incredibly supportive of that. And I've been having a great time and being able to kind of blow that up and dig into the mythology of it. The other one I'm doing. And I'd like to be able to tell you what it is, but I need to grab something really quick.
You need some help?
Yeah, will you help me? Yeah. That's right. I'm writing Power Pack.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Donny Cates, Nick Klein, Matt Wilson on Thor. So, Nick, do you want to tell us a little bit about your artistic approach? Because as an artist, you tend to vary your style with every project. You wrapped up Deadpool with Scotty, and now you're coming on to Thor with Donny. And, the style that you're bringing here is just spectacular. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, on Deadpool, it was more of a comic style, because it's a comedic book. But just because of the sheer awesomeness of the artists that also went ahead of me in Thor, I just wanted to step up my game, obviously, and I hope I did. You guys are in for a treat, because when we had our first phone call, and Donny's like, all right, this is going to be like I'm going to walk you through the first 30 issues, and I was just like one punch after another, and I was like, oh my God, I have to draw all this, but it's going to be crazy.
Every issue is an event book. Every issue is the biggest, craziest thing that you're going to see, and it just ramps up from there. So I hope you guys will join us.
We'll be around all weekend. These guys all have tables downstairs.
Thank you.
Please stop by the Marvel booth if you want to talk to me or the editors. And thank you all so much.